So, what's the date today? I'm gonna keep this as short as I can. Just say what I have to say and be done with it. April 16th of 2025. So, Rhea is no more. That chapter in my life is closed. I'm done, people. I don't know what is wrong. Well, I know what is wrong with the world in some ways, but in other ways, I don't know what is wrong with people. Basically, in a nutshell, that girl stole a whole bunch of shit from me. I was debating whether I should talk about it or not, but I don't see why I shouldn't, because I'm not the one that's going around stealing from people. I'm not the one that's going around taking people's shit and destroying it and throwing it out in the garbage and giving it away to other people and selling it so that I can make money and power tripping over it. And right, you know, and in regards to what's been happening to me with these individuals that have been around me, okay, in terms of what my son and his wife did on more than one occasion, what my landlord just recently did, okay? And the thing is, I've been talking to Rhea about this on the phone, and she, I guess, was playing lip service to me. Oh yeah, you know, it's wrong, and people shouldn't do that, and yada-dee-dee-ya, and, you know I can see it's hard on you, and yada-dee-ya, and yes, I'll help you, and yada-dee-ya, and oh my God, people. I fell for the old okie dokie. Now, when the first time my son threw out shit, what was it, 2 years ago or whatever it was, when he moved in, that girl, and they gutted the kitchen in the living room, basically, and then got into the laundry room and started chucking shit out of there, and all ended up in the garage, and that's when Rhea really got a big payload in terms of take as much as you want, take what you want, because, right? And then the rest ended up outside on the grass, and it was just one big free-for-all for the community for a week. And then I got down to a little teeny-weeny pile left in the corner, and then what happened? The city showed up because of that little teeny-weeny leftover shit. A week before that happened, my landlady said, get rid of that, get rid of that. I said, yeah, I'm on my last week with it. I'm out in the yard working. If it's not gone by the end of the week, I'll take it the rest to the thrift store. We're talking $10,000 worth of shit fucking gone. Just boom. Easy peasy, if not more. All right, so cut my losses, whatever. I had the whip on my back with the city because, you know, got to build that case, right? All right, so anyway, when that was all happening, just with her behavior in terms of quote-unquote Rhea, you know, it was a little sketchy, you know, because you have to remember, I've had a lot of people over the years steal from me, eh? You know? And but whatever. What was there to steal? I was giving it to her all. So it wasn't like she was stealing anything. But there was just a couple of times there that, I don't know, my spidey senses went up. Because there was a couple of things that I wanted to keep, and I don't know, it was just sketchy behavior. So I just pushed it off. Didn't care because it was a freaking free-for-all. All right, anyway, now we're in 2025, and like, my son's not helping me with anything. He makes everything worse because, you know, he scatters and it gets thrown out. Like, you know, like, there's things up here that belong downstairs, people, right? And I can't take it downstairs because of whatever, and I find more stuff, and I have to bring in more stuff because more stuff, like, just with what happened with my landlord. And a lot of that stuff that Andre and I rescued from that bin I gave to Rhea. Like that easel, I priced out that easel. I could have sold that easel for $50, at least $50. It was in mint condition. To buy a new one, probably not as well made as the one that I had, was at least $80, not including tax. So you're looking at $90, $95 to buy a new one. The one that I gave her, that my son threw out from the shed, was in mint condition. And you know, and I gave her some other things, right? And she was going to sell the winemaking kit that my son threw out. Anyway, I gave her, you know, I gave her a few things. I gave her some children's toys, guitars, and as we were going to get into my room, right? To get that trunk out, I gave her that trunk. In a nutshell, after the trunk was out of my room, I said, that's it, we're done. We don't need to do no more. That was the big chore for the day. Because it takes me a while to put things back in terms of organization, where the things that I'm not going to use, like canned coconut, are on the bottom, and then, you know, and then I have the canning jars. Whatever I do, I always put the canning jars on top, because you can't have things on them, right? So I have to, right? And I have to balance it out, and I have to, you know, right? Right? So I said, yeah, no, we're done, because she wanted to grab more boxes that were in the hall that have canned food in them, or whatever, and start just stacking them up on the dresser. And I told her, no, we're not doing that, because, you know, I have to figure out, you know, I have to do it in increments, right? It takes me a while to balance the weight, and, you know, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to place things. It's, you know, it takes me a little while to figure it out, right? So we're done for the day. So just don't worry. Oh, well, I'm here to help, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, if you want to do anything, take those two things, 2 boxes that had canned goods in them, right? The baby corn, because Andre and Amari like baby corn, so I stocked up on baby corn, and so it was like a little box. I said, you can take that box. And the other one had, I think, chunky soup in it or something, right? As just whatever, right? And I said, that's it, we're done. Close the door, let's go have tea now, and call it a day, right? Just, you know, you got some stuff, and you can go home early, right? So I come in here. She comes for a minute. The water's on the stove. She disappears. I'm sitting here. Andre makes me a coffee. I'm calling out, Rhea, what do you want, coffee or tea? She's not answering me. Okay. So eventually I get up. And I'm like, are you in the bathroom? So I go down the hall. Now, my bedroom door is closed, okay? And I have this thing that actually wheels in front of it, because I went to the bathroom, because I'm going down the hall, right? I see the front door open. I go down the hall to see if maybe she's in the bathroom. She's not in the bathroom, so I use the bathroom. So it was easy enough for me to get through. My door is closed. I come back out. I see the door still open. I see that she's not around in here, right? And I sit down and I wait. I'm thinking she's outside, people. Okay? I'm thinking she's outside. Maybe talking on the phone or something. All right. Eventually she comes. She was gone like 10, 15 minutes. All right. Maybe longer for all I know. At least 10, 15 minutes. And she's going on about crabs in a can and how expensive they are. Yada yada. And I'm like, yeah, because I just stocked up on crabs, right? And I had a box in the hall that wasn't taped up. So I guess she was rifling through that stuff too, as well. All right, whatever. And then she wants to leave fast. Oh, I gotta go. Because her son, little one, is going to come home from school, and she didn't want to leave her older son with him. Even though before she got here, she was talking about how she was, she could leave her oldest son with the youngest son for an hour or so if we were running late. But as soon as she came out of from wherever she came out of, she wanted to get out of here like a bat out of hell. Okay. I gotta go, My son's gonna be home, and I don't, I want to be there before. And I said, well, we're done, right? I already said we're done for the day, so, like, c'est la vie, like, enjoy your bounty, right? You know what I'm saying? Because right? And, so she, calls an Uber as fast as she can. And we're at the front now. And she's got the trunk with the cover on it, the lid, right? Now, it wasn't on hinges, just, right? But she covered it up. Plus, she had bagged up things, right? That I gave her. A blanket and the toys, and, right? And then she was going to sell a Betty Boo bag with another Betty Boo bag for me to try it out. And this little M&M thing. She took the 2 sewing machines that I had on the floor, right, to test them out to see if they, get them working. They're old Singer ones, the heavy-duty ones, right? And the winemaking kit, obviously the easel, right? And she just beelined out of here as fast as she could, people. As fast as she could. Contrary to what she said before she got here, like, oh, don't worry, if we run late, that's okay. My son can look after my younger son, and it's all good, and, for an hour or so, because, okay. So she flipped the script, that's what I'm trying to say, because she was, okay, do you know what happened? Can you figure it out, what happened when she disappeared? Where do you think she disappeared to, people? She wasn't outside. No, she was in my room. She went back into my room. So, she leaves, whatever. Eventually I get back into my room, and the first thing I see is a box on the floor with some cans of shrimp in it. Maybe 15 cans. So in other words, the box wasn't full. It was just a big box with some cans in it. Right there as soon as you walk in. And I'm like, why is that there? It wasn't there when I closed my door and said we were done. And then I look on the dresser, because when she brought the first 2 boxes in, right, with the cans that were full, because she's strong and she's tall, and right, it was easy for her to do it. When we left the room, she had them stacked on each other. But when I came back, she had separated them and had them side by side. And not only that, but she had another box right there as soon as you walk in on the floor with shrimp cans in it. That was like, the box itself was 3/4 empty. So she went back into my room, that's the point. She was in my room when I was here. But not only did she go back into my room to do what she did there with the taking the box and doing that, where they were side by side, she also brought in something else and put it on the floor. The point is when I went to the bathroom, that's where she was. In my room with the door closed, people. She wasn't outside. She was stealing. So, but I didn't know that, right? We never know when people steal. That's why it's called stealing. Because it's being done behind your back. even though you're in the vicinity. So, okay. And I'm like, and now my spidey senses are up after I realized that she was in my room when I wasn't there, after I told her not to do anything in my room because we were done. Let's just go have a little coffee and figure out the next plan of attack when it comes to what are we going to do next before you got home, being that whatever we did only took an hour to take out the trunk, because that was the big chore, was to take out the trunk. It took no longer than it was less than an hour. So, right? So before you go home, what's like, you know, are we going to get into the playroom and try and set up the hanging racks so that we can start moving my clothes out, or like what are we going to do, right? Clearly we have to still do the basement. We have, you know, she offered to help me with a little bit with the rocks outside because the landlady with her whip on my back, right? So anyway, now I'm looking, and I'm looking at my clothes. And I have a lot of clothes, but most of them are hidden away. I have a little pile on hooks off the closet door that I would wear if I had to go someplace quote unquote nice. And I had some hanging up behind my door that if I had to go out someplace nice, like out in public, like for dinner, or, you know, MarKeng's little ceremony at the park, or whatever, right? Not my run around inside blow Joe clothes, but those other nicer clothes, right? Behind the door. I have some hanging up. Now, whether she was rifling to those, I don't know. But all I know that is the ones that were easily accessible are the ones that I would normally wear if I was to go out someplace nice. And with me wanting to get rid of some of my clothes, selling them or whatever, you know, people are telling me, well, keep some nice stuff for yourself. Between those two piles, that's what I would keep, basically, for myself. But 4 weeks ago, I was looking at something there that would have fit a little larger woman than me, and it was like a flat sequins, and with the lining, you know, if you wash it, the lining itself might shrink, but being that I was a seamstress, it wouldn't have mattered to me, because all I'd be interested is in the flat sequins, right? So in those days, that's probably why I bought it, was to make something with it. But it was, you know, in that stack of clothes, right? And I specifically was looking at it like 2 or 3 weeks ago, deciding what I should do with it. Sell it as is, right? You know what I mean? Why ruin it if it's well made? Somebody else would enjoy it. You don't sew anymore, so you don't, you know, right? Well, anyway, the thing is gone. So now my spidey senses are even more up. I'm looking. Right now, I figure about 4 things that I'm missing, that I'm aware of. Now, mind you, prior to that, as I've been taking out fabric and shit from my room, you know, there are other clothes that went into the playroom onto the other hanging rack that I have in there. And maybe what I'm looking for is on that. But honestly, I don't think so. Because the stuff, you know, that I like to wear, I keep between those 2 locations. And there's stuff missing from both locations. All right. And the next day, I go back in my room. Obviously, it's been bugging me. I'm thinking. I'm looking. I'm double checking again. I'm coming to the conclusion that certain things that I like to wear, that I would keep, despite everything that's going on in my life, is gone. I don't understand why it's gone. Outside of one of the coat hangers is sticking out, and there's nothing on it. And I'm like, well, I'd never do that. It wasn't like that before, which is just another indication that it had been rifled through. So now I'm looking even more, trying to remember what I like to wear that might be missing. I don't care about the stuff that I don't want and I'm willing to let go, whether I sell it or give it away. I want to know if what I like is still there for me, because clearly I've been robbed. Okay? And I'm trying to piece together in my mind when she found the fucking time to do it. There was only one time when I was sitting here waiting for her to come back from the, I guess, bathroom, even though she never did go to the bathroom. When I was waiting for her to come back in from outside talking on the phone, but she never was outside talking on the phone. No, she went into my room, closed the door, and robbed me. All right. So now I have to basically go through each piece of article of clothing in that little area to look for the things that I like to wear. And if I don't find them, and they're not in the playroom on that hanging rack, which there's no reason for them to be there, because the things that are going on the hanging rack are the things that I'm willing to sell or let go or give away or whatever, were the things that were in my room, I wanted to basically keep. And I can't see them because they're not there, from what I can tell at this point. Now, if somebody called me up and said, go get dressed, we're going out for dinner, in the past, it would be easy for me to go between those two locations, find what I'm looking for and get it. But it's interesting how I'm going now looking for the same fucking things and I can't find them. How is it that before this girl showed up, I knew where the shit was and I could find it? After this girl showed up, I can't find it. With coat hangers empty, with them sticking out after the fact of her leaving my house. Okay. All right. So I'm poking around. Obviously, I'm upset. I'm flabbergasted. Clearly, I'm very disappointed. Getting angry. All these negative emotions again. And I'm looking at the food that's close by. And that's another thing. She was poking around in my food. I have a jar, my canning jars, on top of a box that had jam in it. She pushed the box, pushed her hand into the, pushed the canning jar box so that she could get to the box that it was sitting on, right? So this is the canning jars. Here's the box. She pushed the canning jars. So in here, she took her hand and she stuck her hand in there and started feeling around. Because it was a big gaping hole. And I asked Andre, I said, did you do that, Andre? Did you move Nana's canning box? It's amazing she didn't knock any fucking jars off my table when she did that. No, Nana, I didn't do that. I said, I didn't think you did. Long story short, she went, because she was behind my door, rifling through my clothes that were on the door and maybe hanging up, for all I know, because she's good at what she does. She also was on the floor. That's why, remember I said as soon as you walk in, there was a box. As soon as you walk in, she put it right there. Because I have miscellaneous things on the floor when it comes to jars. I like to keep things close to the floor because it's cold. Right? Like soya sauces and those kind of things, right? When they're not on shelves. So anyway, I'm looking, right? And I can't believe this happened, people. People are sick. I swear. The world is so fucking sick. And I see a box, because I'm trying to figure out what she stole, right? Because I know she stole some food. Because certain things just didn't look right. Right? And I'm looking, and I see this box with a whole bunch of shit just kind of piled into it. It's up against the wall. It's on a bucket. It doesn't look, it's not the way it's supposed to be, right? So I'm like, okay, there, you were obviously in that. You did something. What did you do? So I pulled out the box. She had, okay, when I found the box, it had cranberry juice, it had hot chocolate powder container, yellow mustard, and then when I took those off, inside was miscellaneous jerk chicken spice, pickles, I don't know, some sweet and sour sauce. You know, as if you were to go shopping, you'd grab a little of this, little of that, whatever. And for whatever reason, she put it there. I'm telling you, people, that's not how I pack my shit. That's not how I pack my fucking shit. Okay. That kind of miscellaneous stuff would be on the floor or on the little shelf that I had, because I also have a bookshelf. You've seen that in my past videos. So she went in behind the curtain, you know, oh, here, take a little of this, throw it in the box. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is it didn't belong there. Okay, so now I'm convinced she was messing with my food too. Not only was she punching holes in boxes so that she could feel around and try and grab something out, moving shit, stealing my fucking clothes, because now I know certain things are gone, so I'm on the hunt for them, which means that, you know, I have to go through each and everything between the two rooms, and if I don't find what I'm looking for that I know I like to wear, well, there you go, right? What does that say? All right. So I phone her. I phone her at 7 o'clock in the fucking morning. I said, I don't like to be two-faced. I think you're stealing from me. I think you stole from me. Yada-yada. No, I can't deal with this. You know, because we had plans for Tuesday today, right? She phoned me up and said, oh, it's Tuesday, you know, because I'd already mentioned to Tisha, and she said something to Rhea, right? Like, this is a progression of whatever, right? Like last week, right? This has been going on for a while. Yeah, a week. Last Tuesday she came, and she was, you know, she called me up and said, I'm coming on Tuesday and we'll work outside, because I already told Tisha that I was thinking that maybe she stole something because, you know, my clothes had been moved. I could tell they'd been moved, right? It took me a while to catch up to it. And so she phoned me and said, well, we're going to work outside, right? Because of Mrs. Gill with her fucking whip on my back with stupid rocks and all this shit. And I said, yeah, fine, okay. But then, you know, as time goes by and I'm checking my clothes more, like once, twice, looking for what I'm looking for. I can't find what I'm looking for. I'm realizing more things are missing. And then I'm looking at the box of food and I'm like, holy shit, where the hell did that come from? Because that's not the way I would leave it. And clearly she was doing something. And then, you know, like I've just phoned her at 7 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, and I told her, like, forget it, like, don't come to my house because I think you're stealing. I'm not two-faced. I'm not going to sit up there and smile up in your face, act like nothing's going on, right? So for whatever reason, I don't care if I need fucking help. Fuck the help. Like, I don't need this kind of help, people. This is not help. I don't know what the hell this is. Oh no, I'd never steal from you. You've been so generous to me. You've given me so much and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's besides the point. Like, you know, it is what it is, right? And I don't even think at that point I realized that the food situation yet. I was still gooning on about the clothes because, like I said, there's certain things that I will wear that I keep close by that if I need to go out someplace and, you know, I don't know, look more feminine or whatever you want to call it, you know, put on earrings and like they're gone. Like there's a couple of things that are gone that I would choose them first out of my little pile of choices, and they're freaking gone. I feel like I've been raped again, molested. It's like a form of molestation. You know, it's like, it's gross. It's a very gross feeling to have somebody do this to you. Because you can't say no. You say no when they don't stop. You see, that's the thing. You say no, don't hurt me. Don't molest me. Don't attack me. Don't, right? And they do it anyway. It's the same kind of feeling, right? And it stays with you. It doesn't leave you. So I told her, no. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because I did take a whole bunch of shit out of my room as I was clearing out, right? And I hung them up on the hanging rack. So maybe what I'm looking for that I want to keep for myself because I like those things for a reason. Maybe they're on the hanging rack, but I highly doubt it, people. Okay? Especially for the things behind the door where they should be there and they're not. And she said, oh, okay, well, you know, we'll just work outside. Yeah, okay. Well, outside came, but I phoned her and I told her, no, I can't. I'm not two-faced. I can't have you come to my house. Help me so that my landlady doesn't fucking attack me, but think that you stealing from me in terms of being two-faced. Right? Why would I want you to help me if I think that you're stealing from me and it makes me not like you? But I need the help. So therefore I'm going to use you to help me so that I can not be attacked by my landlady. I'm not that way. I don't use people. I don't go out of my way to use people. For any reason. I don't. So I told her I can't. Just forget it. I don't want you to come to the house. Leave it alone for 3 or 4 weeks. I said 3 or 4 weeks. Give me a chance to go through my clothes. Between the three parts. Looking for what I'm looking for. That I know that I had and I would wear after I give away or sell, doesn't matter, okay, when I'm not being robbed, literally, of my clothes, at least more than 3/4 of my shit, okay, I'm willing to let go 3/4 of my shit to accommodate everybody else's selfish fucking needs so they can have more and I can have less, basically, right, because that's basically what it's boiling down to here, right? But that 1/4 that I do want to keep is being robbed? Okay, yeah, sure. So I'm down to 1/8 of what I wanted. in terms of what I have. I'm expected to get rid of everything else and only keep 1/8 of it. And that 1/8 is going to be robbed too, because that's how sick people are when it comes to taking things that don't belong to them, however they do it. Okay? So I said, no, 3 or 4 weeks. She put it at 2 weeks. I said, yeah, okay, we'll see. In terms of, we'll talk about what happens in 2 weeks from now. All right. Because you have to remember, she came in here and we were going, like, talking about, well, what should we do with this? She, talking about how she got excited with all this, being stimulated with all this shit from room to room. Whether it's kids' stuff, fabric, clothes, fucking food, who knows? So yeah, of course she'd want to come back in 2 weeks. Why would she want to wait a month? She's getting this free stuff from me, not including what she was stealing. All right. I said, yeah, okay, we'll see. Get off the phone. I phoned Tisha eventually. I told her what happened, being that it's her friend, basically. And went back into my room. I tried to focus on what I was supposed to do, but of course I noticed, like I said, that box, because I'm like, that's just too weird. Yeah. Long story short, I phoned Tisha. I told her about the food box, what had happened. This is like the second phone call, because she already phoned Rhea with the first phone call from me. And Rhea convinced Tisha that she would never steal from me because I've been so generous and kind to her by giving her all these things, right? And that she was wrong for going into my room like she did. She even apologized to me. But just because people can talk doesn't mean that whatever's coming out of their mouth is genuine. We know that, people. So whatever. She convinced Tisha that she would never steal from me, and that, I've been so kind to her, and blah, 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 blah. So Tisha phones me back and says, oh, you're sure you didn't make a mistake? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, blah, 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 blah. And, you need to come see for yourself. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, get off the phone. I go back into my room. I'm looking at my stupid clothes again. I get down into the corner. I'm looking at the fucking food because I can feel it. I can sense it. I know that she stole my fucking food because she already busted in through the boxes by punching the fucking hole so that she could dig it around and feel around as she's moving my fucking boxes so that she can do that stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm blind. You see, that's the thing. She thinks I'm fucking blind. I am blind, but I can still see a little bit, and I've seen that enough to know that this is just okay. So I'm down now and I notice this other box, and so I take the box out. I call Andre. I said, Andre, this is how dysfunction is built into your house. This is why I don't like what MarKeng and Marina are doing, because here I am again with Andre. Andre, you have to tell me the truth. It is so important that you tell me the truth. Is there any way that you did this? In terms of taking this, all these miscellaneous items, throwing them into a box with, pile of this, the pile. Right. He goes, no, I'd never do that. I didn't do that. I said, I know you wouldn't do that, Andre. See, that's the point. I know he wouldn't do that. But why am I putting Andre now on guard? Why am I questioning Andre now? Okay, but I have to rule him out, right? So I phone Tisha again. I tell her, she's stealing my food, Tisha. Oh, no. I said, yes. Well, how do you know that? I said, because something's missing. She took, I don't know what she took, but she took something, and she tried to hide it by putting another box there with all this miscellaneous shit in it that doesn't even make sense. So that Andre,
What?
what's the matter with him?
Nothing.
So it doesn't even make sense, right? Oh, well, anyway, I guess she phones up Rhea again. And so I'm looking at the box because oftentimes I'll write on the box what's inside. Sockeye salmon, March of 2022. In black Sharpies. Or I'll write it on a piece of paper and tape it on. But after this, for every box that I ever pack again when it comes to freaking food or anything, I'm writing it on Sharpie because there's nothing written on this box. So I don't know what was in the box. All I know that whatever was in there didn't belong in there. And that was done by Rhea as she was hiding behind my door as I'm walking down to the bathroom looking for her. That's some creepy fucking shit. Because she wasn't outside. She was in my room. Yeah. And I was too stupid to not look in my room. Because I trusted her not to go back into my room because I told her we were done. I just assumed she was outside. All right, now I'm on a hunt to figure out what the hell was in the box. Because it wasn't, and I got everything in the box still. So that when Tisha comes to the house, she can see for herself what's in that box. And I'd never do that. Because if you go into my room and you open up the box, chances are it's going to be one thing in multiples. Or at least something similar in multiples. And not a Maj Paws of miscellaneous shit with a freaking juice on top with chocolate milk and freaking old mustard. Just, right? But she had to place something there to hide what was there in the first place because she stole a lot of shit, people. She did. So, okay, I'm looking to see if there's something written on the box to know what was inside of it. No. So that means whatever was on the box was probably taped on. So I'm hoping to go look for a little crunched up piece of paper with some tape on it so I can see what was on the box. Because clearly she was rushing. She only had 10-15 minutes to do what she did. But isn't that what thieves do? They're very fast and very good at what they fucking do when they want to do their stupid shit. Oh, yeah. You know? So, okay. I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at the box. And I'm like, okay, there's something written on the box. Right? And oftentimes when I order things, I'll use the boxes as they come in. As I'm buying. So, I'm looking. I had to get my magnifying glass, whatever. Lodge. Cast iron. What is that called? Dutch oven. 5 quarts. I'm like, okay. Well, I know where I bought that from. Amazon. Now, I just bought a couple of cast irons, but I don't think they were Lodge. One was a Cosin or something, and then I bought these little ones for a Murray. But the only time I ever bought a cast iron was to make sourdough bread, right? I didn't remember when. So anyway, I went on to Amazon, onto my Amazon page. Now, this is my day, okay? This is what her actions did for my day in terms of ruining my day. And putting my grandson under scrutiny for her shitty-ass behavior, okay? So anyway, I go on Amazon and I try and find when I bought that. Eventually, I just had to Google Lodge 5-quart Dutch oven, and it came up. And do you know when I bought that? In March of 2024. So that tells me that that box has been sitting in my room for 1 year. 1 year. Where it was in my room, I don't know. Exactly what was in the box, I don't know, because I didn't write it on the box itself. More than likely, sockeye salmon or something like that that was expensive. It could have been corned beef. Could have been anything. Whatever it was, wasn't what she put in there, that's for sure. Exactly where she got that box from, I don't know, because there was only so far that she could get into my room. But she's good at what she does because she's tall and she's strong and she's quick and she has the balls to do it. So, being that she rated 1 box, do you honestly think that she stopped with the 1? Hell no. There was, bet you she walked off with boxes that were already boxed up, and she didn't even bother to try and open it up. The only reason she did what she did is because whatever that was in that corner, if she would have left it a gaping hole, I would have noticed it real fast. Because initially I didn't notice it until I went looking to see if something had been moved, because already my clothes had been, something's been wrong, right? And just by the very way that she packed it. I mean, like, clearly the girl doesn't have sorting out skills. Right? So whatever was in that box that's been sitting in my room for a whole fucking year, she stole it. And she tried to cover it up by putting empty other shit in there that didn't make no sense, hoping that I wouldn't notice it because I was blind. And then, when we were done doing my room, she grabbed some Febreze up high and put it on my canning jar. So we were standing by my room, and I looked and I could see, and I'm like, well, what's this? Oh, it's Febreze. Like, I have to bring it to my face, right? Oh, I need that. I need that because of Amari in the living room. Where did you find it? I said to her. Where did you find it? She goes, up there. You didn't see that? She's testing me. You didn't see that? I said, no, because I need it. I'm glad you've seen it. You know, I'm glad you found it. Because that's what I need for, you know, the living room because of Amari leaking out with, right? You know, I'm just, whatever. Fuck. She took that down. She put it there. She was going to probably run off and put it in the trunk as she was taking shit to the trunk that she wasn't supposed to. So when she left, she couldn't. But, okay, so I'm sitting here. I'm waiting for her to come back from wherever the fuck she is. I'm thinking outside, when in fact she was in my room stealing my shit. Not only my clothes, but she was stealing my food. And this is what I'm aware of. She comes back in here, and now all of a sudden she wants to beeline out of here. I gotta go. Malachi's gonna get home from school. Yada. And I'm like, yeah, well, I already said we're done for the day. The big chore was to give you the trunk. That was it. A trunk that I've had for 40 fucking years, people. She took my trunk that I covered by hand 40 years ago when I had a teeny weeny little baby, and she filled it up with food that goes to Mari and Andre, along with my clothes, the ones that I wanted to keep for myself as I'm giving away or selling everything else. And she loading it up behind my back as I'm sitting here waiting for her to come and say goodbye in terms of, okay, you know, what's the next mode of attack, being that you care about me, being that you care about the kids, being that you want to help, unlike my son, unlike my daughter. They don't want to fucking help me sell shit. They don't want to, they just want me to throw it out, give it away, trash it, whatever, right? She was the only one that was offering to fucking actually help me. But as she was helping me, she was stabbing me in my back. She was robbing from me. She was stealing food from the kids. She stole the clothes that I wanted to keep for myself, as I was willing to let the rest of them go. Lying up in my face, being fucking two-faced. I gotta go. Yeah, well, that's fine. You can go. She calls Uber. I go to the door, she real fast picks up the fucking trunk, the lid is on it, and runs off with it. Yeah, because it was full of fucking shit. How much did you steal? $1,000 worth of shit? I wouldn't be surprised. By the time she was fucking done, I bet you put a fucking grand on it. Like, what the fuck? So I phone up Tisha. I said, look, because Rhea's saying she would never steal from you. She appreciates you. She cherishes everything that you give her. She uses everything that you gave her when MarKeng threw out all your shit. She respects you. I said, I don't know about that, Tisha. Here's this box, yada-de-ya-ya. This is what she did with this stupid box. Did you know that box was been in my room for a whole fucking year? And what would have been in that box would have been canned meat. That's why she was poking, looking for the most expensive shit. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't run off with a box of fucking jam. So now I have to go through all my boxes in that little vicinity to see what's missing. So I'm going to write it off at a fucking grand between my clothes and the food that she fucking stole. Not including what I gave her. Out of the kindness of my heart. So I told Tisha, that's it, I'm done. Oh, well, you know, she says she would never do it. I said, no. Like, what the hell? I told her that, you know, whatever, you know where things are, and, you know, and blah, and I said, yeah, exactly. Get off the phone. She says she's going to come here and look for a dress that she wants. Yeah. She doesn't want me to give my stuff away. She doesn't want me to sell my stuff. But she wants to go through it first, pick the things that she wants for herself because she wants to fucking cherish it for life because I'm her mom. But she won't fucking help me. And then she says to me, well, why did you let her in your room in the first place? I said, because I had to get out that trunk. I needed help. I've been asking for years for Tisha to fucking help me. Doesn't happen. I've been asking MarKeng for fucking years to help me. Well, we know what kind of help he gives me. It all ends up in the garage. Or in a bin, if it's available. Or in a fucking garbage can. Or in somebody's trunk. Okay? Anyway, then I phoned up Tisha again. And I just told her, don't be asking to pick up Andre, to go to no fucking birthday parties, none of that crap. Because she has, you know, one son that's got like some sort of disability that, whatever, and Tisha makes baseball. You gotta go, you know, blah, 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 come on, let's go. You're his only friend. Guilt trip Andre, because this boy is Andre's only friend, even though he punches on Andre and unpredictable and whatever, and Andre doesn't really like him, but, you know, it's a means to get out of the house for a little while anyway. He likes being with his aunt, but whatever. I just said, look, that's it. I'm done with Rhea. Fuck it, right? Whether you believe me or not, It's my fault for letting her come in my room, even though I've been asking you for fucking years to help me, and you keep telling me that I'm the problem and that it's not your responsibility, right? But yet you want me to give you my fucking shit when I pull it out before I give it away. You want to look through it first, but you won't help me to pull it out. You won't help me to fucking sort it out. You won't help me to fucking sell it, but you want to go through it first. Okay. And then when I do find somebody that supposedly is kind enough to fucking help me, and I give them a chance to help me because I need the help, and I'm not taking advantage of them because I'm giving them shit as they're helping me, and they turn around and they rob me, and then when I tell you about it, you blame me for it, for letting them in my room. Why did you let her in your room? Well, I don't know. I had to get started somehow. Nobody else was helping me. In other words, it's your fault. Yeah, sure. My fault. I just told her. Don't ask Andre to go to these birthday parties. Nothing. It's one thing that we had to go through this with MarKeng and Marina. And he was getting mixed messages. He doesn't need to receive those mixed messages again. You can't force him to be so-and-so's friend. Just because you want to impress your friend that clearly you side with compared to what she did to your mother. Basically, because then she calls me crazy and that I'm trying to hold back Andre and keep him babysitting Amari and nothing else, and that's it in life. Yeah, okay. Right. That's why he's got his little part-time job. He goes off and going to the mall with his little friend. Runs around with his bike with his little friend. Don't talk to me about that shit. At least Andre helps me with Amari. Didn't abandon me. Right? Your friend steals from me, straight up fucking steals from me, and you want to pick up Andre and take him to a birthday party with her so that her son can have a friend there? If that isn't two-faced, I don't know what is. Because I'm telling Andre, when you come into contact with people like this, and they do this shit to you, you know, there is that fine line with family when you get stuck and you can't really move, get away from the situation fast enough because, you know, there's codependency in there and da-de-da-da, right? But there are no ties to this girl outside of, she could have been my stepdaughter. If she would have been, I don't know, different. Because she said, well, yeah, you're kind of like a stepmom. Because her mom is in Ontario. And she's got nobody out here. Well, she doesn't got me no more. And she can't use my grandson to entertain her son as she's two-faced trying to talk to Andre and act like she didn't do anything wrong by robbing me so that Andre learns that it's okay to steal from other people. Isn't it interesting how we've come full circle right back to that same damn subject? And Tisha wants to call me crazy, holler and scream at me because I won't allow Andre to associate with those people anymore who clearly are a bad influence on him. And especially with the kid that he doesn't even really like, because he never knows when that kid is going to turn around and whack him because he's got emotional problems. And Tisha freaking knows it. So go be with your little drinking buddy. Don't ask me to babysit the fucking kids. I don't care. You want to choose your drinking buddy because really, what kind of friendship do you fucking have other than to go off and go do a little drinking, go hang out at the club, go to the after hours, maybe, well, yeah, you have your little birthday parties, but either or, if that's where your priorities are at, is with someone like that versus sticking up for your mom and your freaking nephew, instead of trying to force your nephew to do something that isn't not necessarily even good for him when it comes to teaching him morals. Like, fuck off. So now I'm kind of fighting with Tisha over this stupid shit. As if I did something wrong. I'm not the one that went into that bitch's house and stole $1,000 worth of shit. You think she just walked off with one box of fucking canned food? Meat? Or whatever she stole? Because I'm going to sooner or later narrow it down. When she came back out from my room, she was going on about fucking crabs and corned beef, and clearly she got overstimulated with it. And that's why she beelined out of here like a bat out of fucking hell. She didn't want me to open up the fucking box. I mean, the lid on the trunk. She had it all stacked up in there nice. And ran off with the fucking garbage bags with my clothes stuffed inside of them. Yeah. And Tisha has the audacity to take Andre and put Andre right in front of her fucking two-faced freaking bullshit crap. And just so that her kid can have a friend at the birthday party. Well, that mother should have thought about that stupid shit. And that's another thing. She's flying off to some Mexico. She flies off to wherever to go on these stupid fucking holidays. Tisha apparently going to babysit for a couple of 2-3 days so she can go on some fucking holiday in a month and a half from now. If you got money to fucking fly here and fly there, well, why don't you buy your fucking own kids food? Right? Why don't you go buy your own stupid shit? Right? You know how expensive airplanes are and shit like that? You can go off and spend $2,000 to do that stupid shit, but you can't go off to the fucking grocery store and spend that same amount of money and stock up on your own fucking goods? No, you gotta wait for an opportunity to come into somebody else's house and start stealing their shit right as you're smiling up in their damn face, telling them, oh, that you like them so much because they're so kind to you? Yeah, to hell with you. To hell with you. So there, that's it. That chapter in my life is done. Fucking done. Like, I'm so sick and tired of people, man. I don't know what's wrong with people. I really don't. 84-year-old running around taking everything from the yard and then telling me to go plant food? Yeah, okay. I don't think so. Right? Keeping me scared every day of my life that I live in this fucking house because of stupid rocks and a fucking table outside and a few planter pots, right? 84 years old. Still got that whip on my back. Got me shaking in my bloody boots. Yeah, right. You allow somebody to come into your house because they say they actually care and they understand what you're going through with all these fucking crazy people attacking you and stealing your stuff, and they turn around and they fucking steal it the minute they get here, and they couldn't even wait? Couldn't even fucking wait? Yeah, the only reason you fucking helped me is so that you could sneak your ass back into my room, close the door. You heard me walk by. I could only talk about a fucking rat in the house. That's a crazy fucking rat. Because, they chew, right? You hit the wall, and then they freeze. I can see that girl squat, and this girl's tall. She's 5'9", squatting, digging around. And she heard me walk down the fucking hall, because I walked down the hall to go see if she was in the bathroom, and I noticed the door was open, and so she wasn't in the bathroom. So I thought I'd use the fucking bathroom. Okay? I didn't stop to think to look in my room. Because I trusted her. I thought she actually understood what other people around me have been doing to me. Slowly but surely putting me into a fucking grave because of their dysfunctional fucking bullshit for, I don't know, people. Because whatever this girl did is the same kind of shit that my son's been doing, the same kind of shit that my fucking landlord's been doing, only this one really stares in your face. I walk down the hall. She's in my room, on the floor, digging around, opening up boxes, taking my shit after she robbed my fucking clothes. She hears me walk, and like a dirty fucking rat, what does she do? She freezes. Because if I would have heard her, what would I have done? Open my door. But no, she froze like a fucking rat. And once she heard me walk away, what did she do? She went back doing what she was doing. And then she creeped. Tisha said, are you telling me she was creeping with the stuff from your room to the front door? I said, yes. Well, where were you, Mom? I said, right here. And Tisha's still in denial. She thinks it's okay for Andre to go hang out with her. Because her son has no friends. Well, that's too fucking bad. Deal with it. I gotta deal with my shit. You deal with your shit. But yeah, she froze in my room in a squatting position as she's pillaging my shit, looking for the most expensive of the expensive. Because she's too cheap to buy for her own fucking kids. Because she's planning a little holiday as she's going to wear my clothes. And then she heard me walk back after I was done with the bathroom. And what does a rat do? It starts moving around again. And that's exactly what she did. And then when she was done, because she was so overwhelmed and overstimulated, got her little fucking rush on. She came in here and was going, oh, well, crabs are so expensive. And, and you got corned beef and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, how do you know I got corned beef? Oh, well, I seen 2 cans there in the hall. No. Yeah, you seen those 2 fucking cans in the hall. No, you came across a whole bunch in my fucking bedroom, bitch. And you probably fucking stole them. Because you're a lousy fucking mother who can't afford to feed her own fucking kids because you're too busy running around taking holidays as you rob your friend's mother. I didn't want to say anything about it. But what is this any more different than any other bullshit crap that goes on in my life? How is it any more different? It's not. And my daughter wants to side with that and call me crazy. Because I'm trying to protect my grandson from people like that where he can learn to say, fuck off. When he's a man, he has to learn to say, fuck off, motherfucker. I don't need a thief in my house. I don't need thieves around me. I'm not a fucking thief. My grandson went outside. Tisha dropped off her kids, right? Oh, wow. Isn't that interesting? Huh? Okay, so anyway, he said, Olea, let's go outside. Okay, go outside. Do you know what my grandson did? And I'm going to leave it on this note. Okay? He went outside. He took it upon himself to, I don't know if I already mentioned it, but I'm going to say it again. He mowed the grass. He weed-whacked the grass. He cleaned the pond, which somebody keeps sabotaging. They're throwing batteries in it. Beer bottles in it, pushing all the fucking rocks in it. Either or, Andre cleaned it out. He did all that without me even asking him to do it. He didn't ask me for anything. He didn't ask me for money. He just did it, people. He's 14 years old. I told him, Andre, you are growing up to be a man. That is what a good man would do. You showed me that you are turning into a man. So why do I want all these negative fucking people around me that want to contort reality so that they can justify bad behavior and make it so that stealing is normal and that you're supposed to ignore it and allow bad people to do it as you profess to be their friend because they want you to be their friend? You have to be my friend. You have to be my friend. Tisha's trying to make Andre be a friend to somebody he doesn't want to be a friend to. And then put him in a position where he has to look at somebody that fucking robbed him. Because I said, well, you know, she's stealing food from the kids. She's not stealing food from Andre and Amari. Oh, okay. They don't eat it? Yeah, no, she's stealing food from the kids. And you want to force him to go to some stupid birthday party? Oh, fuck off. Oh, well, you're crazy. And she's starting to holler and scream at me. Yeah, okay. I'm crazy. That's why my grandson can go out there and do that shit without being asked or told. And didn't ask for a reward. I'm fucking crazy. Yeah. You know where he got it from? From that man that's mentoring him. Yeah. That gave him a little job. Yeah. That's showing him that he can do these things. He knows how to use a weed blower, a weed whacker. He can drive an electric freaking lawnmower. Drives it like a car. Okay? Power washing. That's four, what do you call those things? Electrical tools that he can already use. He's only worked 3 or 4 times with this man. And already it's making a difference with him coming home and doing what he did. Well, I got fucking rats in my house. Freezing as I'm walking down the hall. Looking for them. And then when I leave, they get back to being a rat. And then want to be two-faced. And tell me that they would never do that. Because I've been so kind to them. By giving them so much. By being so generous. Yeah, well, take your fucking sweet words and shoving them up your ass. Because that's all it is. Fucking sweet words that mean nothing. Actions speak louder than words. That box, March of 2024, there's your action, okay? It's like your hand in the fucking cookie jar, right? You got caught. You got fucking caught. And as for the clothes that you fucking took, if you're watching my fucking videos, I don't give a fuck. I didn't want to talk about it. But nobody gives a rat's ass about you. Nobody knows who the fuck you are other than some blip on some YouTube channel that gets shadow banned. Right? Because it's the bad people that seem to can afford to do things and have things and all that stupid shit, right? You know, I mean, it costs money to go fucking fly off to wherever you're fucking flying off to. So before you fucking fly off, why don't you go off and buy your own fucking food, bitch?